Hello, my dear students. This is Vijay Lakshmi from English department. My dear friends, in our previous class, we learned about the verb and also I discussed about the kinds of the verbs, such as there are two kinds in verbs. Those are main verbs and auxiliary verbs. In main verbs, again, there are two kinds. Those are transitive and intransitive verbs. And then in auxiliary verbs, there are two kinds. Those are primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries. We learnt about all these things in our previous class. And dear friends, in our today's class, let us have a look on the further concept, that is regular verbs and irregular verbs. So let us see what is regular verbs and irregular verbs. My dear friends, we learnt about verbs, and these verbs are divided into two classes on the basis of the method by which they form the past tense from the present. Namely, those are regular verbs and irregular verbs. Remember, regular verbs are also known as weak verbs, whereas irregular verbs are also known as strong verbs. See here, these verbs are divided into two classes on the basis of the method by which they form the past tense from the present. And these two classes are, the first one is regular verbs, the another name for regular verb is weak verb, and the second one is irregular verbs. So the another name for irregular verbs is strong verbs. This is about strong and weak verbs. And here, dear friends, weak verbs means the verbs which form their past tense by adding ed or d or t to the present are known as weak verbs. I told you the another name for weak verb is regular verbs. Then what is regular verbs here? Usually these regular verbs form their past tense by adding ed or d or t to the present. These are known as weak verbs. For example, see if there is a main verb called walk, how to change that walk into past tense and past participle. For example, the present form of the walk is walk itself, and the verb 2 form of that walk is walked, walked. It is ending with ed, and verb 3 form of that walk is again walked. So these weak verbs, they form their past tense by adding ed, d or t to their present form. And dear friends, look at the above sentences. Here, change, change. When we change that change into past tense, it becomes a changed. It is ending with ed. Then comes spend. Another example is there, that is spend. Spend is the V1 form, that is verb 1 form. When we change that spend into past tense, it becomes spent. It is ending with t. Next is manage. The word manage, when we change it into past tense, it is ending with again ed, that is managed. Worry becomes worried. In this way, regular verbs, when we change those regular verbs into past form or in past tense, they usually ends with ed or d or t or ied. See, you can observe in these words, walk is ending with ed, change is ending with ed again d, spend is ending with t, manage is ending with d, and worry is ending with ied. These are known as regular verbs. Regular verbs are also known as weak verbs. Hope you understood about weak verbs. Let us have a look on irregular verbs then. So here, irregular verbs are also known as strong verbs, and these strong verbs, they form their past tense by simply changing the vowel without adding ed or d or t. See here, strong verbs or irregular verbs, while changing their present form into the past tense, they do not change with ed or d or t. These are called as strong verbs or irregular verbs. For example, there is a word drink. Drink is the main verb. It is a V1 form. When we change that drink into past form, it becomes drank. How about give? The next word is give. It becomes gave. Give, gave, given. Next comes eat. Eat becomes ate. It is not ending with ed or d or t here. See, ate is not ending with d or ed or t. Next comes teach. Teach is ending with taught. It is becoming taught. Next comes buy. It is becoming bought. So, in this way, irregular verbs or strong verbs, they do not, when we change these strong verbs into past form, they do not end with ed or d or t. Such verbs are known as strong verbs. You can see in these examples, see, there are some regular verbs ending with ed, d and t. See, the first one is play. Play, played, played. Dance, danced, danced. Listen, listened, listened. Walk, walked, walked. Work, worked, worked. Watch, watched, watched. Live, lived, lived. Call, called, called. Answer, answered, answered. Arrive, arrived, arrived. Talk, talked, talked. Open, opened, opened. Close, closed, closed. Explore, explored, explored. See, the verb one form, when it is changed into past form and past participle form, they are ending with ed, d or t or ied. Such verbs are known as regular verbs or weak verbs. See, coming back to the another concept, that is irregular verbs. Look at these concepts, look at these examples here. Eat, ate, eaten. These verbs, the V2 form. Verb 1 form is eat. Verb 2 form is ate. Verb 3 form is eaten. See, when eat is changed into verb to form, it is not ending with ed or d or t or ied. So, eat, ate, eaten. Have, had, go, went, gone. Make, made, made. Drink, drank, drunk. Drive, drove, driven. Leave, left, left. Write, wrote, written. Read, read, read. The pronunciation of verb to form of read should be read. So read, read, read. Cut, cut, cut. Buy, bought, bought. Put, put. Shut, shut, shut. Take, took, taken. Think, thought. Catch, caught. Fell, felt. Wake, woken. Sleep, slept. Come, came, come. In this way, irregular verbs do not end with ed or d or ied. So, these verbs are known as irregular verbs. Hope you understood the definition of the regular verbs and irregular verbs. I also gave some examples to make you understand these regular verbs and irregular verbs. So, my dear friends, with this, I would like to end my discussion on verbs. And now, moving forward, I would like to have a discussion on the another concept, that is tense. So, let us have a look on the concept called tense. So, what is tense then? You might have learned about this tense in your high school education. Obviously, you had learned it. See, tense, it is a term which is used. It is used in grammar to indicate the time of an action. Usually, the tense, it indicates the time of an action when the action has happened, whether it is going to happen now or it is going to happen in the future. In this way, this tense, it represents the time of an action. Usually, tense, it represents the time of an action. You can see here this tense, it has been derived from the Latin word that is a tempus, and the meaning of tempus is a time. Basically it is a Latin word, and the Latin word was a tempus, and the English form of the tempus is tense, and the meaning of the tense is time only. And this time, it is the form in which a verb is used to express when an action is or was or will be performed. Based on time frame, that is when the action is taking place, we can divide or categorize these tenses into three types. See, this tense, it can be classified or it can be divided into three types, namely present tense, past tense, future tense. On the basis of the time of the action, we can divide this tense into three parts. So those are present tense, past tense, and future tense. Hope you understood the meaning of tense. Dear friends, tense is nothing but it is a word that indicates the time of an action. And this tense, it has come from a Latin word called tempus, and the meaning of tempus is time. It represents the time of an action. And here, this tense is divided into, mainly it is divided into three types. Those are present tense, past tense, and future tense. And in present tense, again there are four types. Those are simple present tense, Sadha Vartamana Kala in Kannada, present continuous tense, Apurna Vartamana Kala, present perfect tense, Purna Vartamana Kala, and present perfect continuous tense, Munduvareda Purna Vartamana Kala. Mainly there are three types in tense, present tense, past tense, and future tense. In present tense, again there are four types. Those are simple present tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense. Next comes past tense. The second type of the tense is past tense, Bhutakala. And again in past tense there are four types. Those are simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, past perfect continuous tense. Sada Bhutakala, Apurna Bhutakala, Purna Bhutakala, Munduvarida Purna Bhutakala in Kannada. Next comes a future tense. Simple future tense, past continuous, simple future tense, future continuous tense, future perfect tense, and future perfect continuous tense. See here, in future tense, there are four types. Those are simple future tense, future continuous tense, future perfect tense, and future perfect continuous tense. Sada Bhavishat Kala, Apurna Bhavishat Kala, Purna Bhavishat Kala, and Munduvareda Purna Bhavishat Kala. This is about the types of the tenses. Mainly there are three types, and again in each type there are four kinds in these tenses. Hope you understood about the types of the tense. Well, now let us see the use of these various tenses. First and foremost, I would like to tell you where to use simple present tense. My dear friends, this simple present tense, it is used to express a habitual action. First thing, simple present tense, it is used to express a habitual action, and then it is used to express general truths, and now it is used to express an exclamatory sentences beginning with here and there, and then it is used to express planned activities, and finally it is used to introduce quotations. Try to understand. Simple present tense is used to express a habitual action, first thing, and the second thing is that it is used to express general truths, and then it is used to express an exclamatory sentence beginning with here and there, and it is used to express planned activities, and finally it is used to express or to introduce the quotations. You can see the examples here for simple present tense. See here, it represents an action or it represents the habitual activities. Example, Prabhu walks to school every day. Here Prabhu is a subject, walks is verb. You can observe one thing here. Since Prabhu is a third person singular pronoun, Prabhu is he. He is noun actually. Prabhu is noun here, but he is pronoun. So Prabhu is representing third person singular pronoun. So we added yes to the main verb, that is walk. It is a rule of present tense. For in simple present tense, while making a sentence on the basis of the simple present tense, if the subject is I, we, you, and they, there is no need to add yes to the main verb. But if the subject is he or she or it, that is third person singular pronouns, at that time we should add yes to the main verb. See, for example, here Prabhu is representing he. So we added yes to the walk. Prabhu walks to school every day. If the subject was I, the sentence should be I walk to school every day. We walk to school every day. You walk to school every day. Second person plural verb is, plural pronoun is you again. You walk to school every day. He walks to school every day. She walks to school every day. It walks to school every day. And they walk to school every day. So remember, in simple present tense, if the subject is he or she or it, in that case we should add yes to the main verb. And the formula of simple present tense is subject plus verb 1 plus object. Here you are observing Prabhu is a subject and walks is verb 1 and to school every day is the object here. Moving forward with the next sentence. See, I told you simple present tense is used to express the general truth. You can observe the sentence here. The sun rises in the east. It is a universal truth. It is a truth, a general truth. Look at the formula of the sentence. The sun is a subject, rises is verb, in the east is becoming the object here. So the sun is the subject. Sun is again representing, he is representing third person singular pronoun, that is he. So yes is added to the main verb, that is rise. And then this simple present tense, in simple present tense, it is used to express action in general time. For example, I work in a factory. See, I is a subject, so yes is not added to the main verb, that is work. So I work in a factory. It's about an example for the simple present tense. I told you simple present tense is used to express an habitual action. I can give you an example that Madhavi gets up early in the morning. It's her habitual action. Ramya returns from college at 6 o'clock. It is her habitual action. And also, this simple present tense is used to express general truth. Example was given, that is, the earth moves around the sun. And it is used to express an exclamatory sentences beginning with here and there. Example, here comes Padma. There the bus stops. Look how Balu sings. And also, simple present tense is used to express planned activities such as PM visits America next Sunday. My uncle arrives tomorrow. And also, this simple present tense is used to introduce quotations. Example, Shakespeare says, love is not a time's fool. John Keats says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. It's about simple present tense. And then comes present continuous tense. Then where to use present continuous tense? My dear friends, this present continuous tense, first and foremost, it has to be used for an action which is going on at the time of speaking. See, remember, this present continuous tense, firstly, it has to be used for an action which is going on at the time of speaking. I am teaching now. I am teaching. The action is going on. It's an example for the present continuous tense. And next, it is used for a temporary action. For example, Madhavi is learning Kuchipudi dance, or Rama is acting in the film. For a temporary action, we can use this present continuous tense. And also, this present continuous tense is used for a future planned actions. Example, we are visiting Agra this week. So, present continuous tense is used for the action which is currently going on, which is presently going on. Then, what should be the formula of this present continuous tense? To frame the sentence on the basis of the present continuous tense, we should write first subject. Subject comes first, then comes to be form of helping verbs. Those are am, is, are. In my previous class only, I discussed about helping verbs. Those are primary auxiliary verbs. In primary auxiliary verbs, there are three types. Those are to be forms, to have forms, and to do forms. These to be form helping verbs are am, is, are, was, were. Among these five helping verbs, the first three, am, is, are used in the present continuous tense. Okay, so here, see, the formula of present continuous tense is subject plus helping verb, that is either am or is or are on the basis of the subject. If the subject is I, helping verb should be am. If the subject is we, helping verb should be are. If the subject is you, helping verb should be are. If the subject is second person plural pronoun, that is you, again helping verb should be are. If the subject is he or she or it, at that case helping verb should be is. If the subject is they, the helping verb should be are. So the formula to frame the sentence on the basis of this present continuous tense is subject plus helping verb plus main verb, that is V1. Okay, and we should add ing to the main verb, and lastly we should put object for this present continuous tense. Here are some examples. Look at the sentences. He is coming tomorrow. See, he is subject in this sentence. He is a subject. Since he is third person singular pronoun, is the helping verb is taken here. He is coming tomorrow. Come is main verb, that is verb 1, and ing is added to the come, and obviously tomorrow is an object here. So he is coming tomorrow. If the subject is I am coming tomorrow, we are coming tomorrow, you are coming tomorrow, you are coming tomorrow, he is coming tomorrow, she is coming tomorrow, it is coming tomorrow, and they are coming tomorrow. Look at the next sentence. I am reading in this school. I is a subject, am is a helping verb, read is verb 1, ing is added as it is a rule of present continuous tense, and in this school is an object. So I am reading in this school. I am reading in this school. We are reading in this school. You are reading in this school. You are reading in this school. He is reading in this school. She is reading in this school. It is reading in this school. They are reading in this school. Next comes, they are playing football like old days. See, it's also an habitual action. So they is third person plural pronoun. So they are playing football like old days. It's about present continuous tense. Hope you understood about present continuous tense. Remember, present continuous tense is used to indicate the action which is going on at the time of speaking. Well, next let us have a look on the third type of the present tense, that is present perfect tense. Way to use this present perfect tense, dear friends, it is used for just completed actions, and it is also used to express past actions whose time is not specific, and this present perfect tense is also used for past events whose result is still felt, and it is used for an action started in the past and continued up to now. So present perfect tense, it is used to indicate just completed actions and to express past actions whose time is not specific, and for past events whose result is still felt, and for an action started in the past and continued up to now. The formula for this present perfect tense is first comes a subject. Here in present perfect tense we should use two helping verbs. Those are have and has. First comes a subject, then comes either have or a has, then comes a verb 3 form. Verb 1, verb 2, verb 3 form, and lastly we should put object. So the formula of the present perfect tense is subject plus helping verb plus verb 3 form plus object. See, one thing you must remember here, I told you we should use two helping verbs. Those are have and has to frame a sentence on the basis of the present perfect tense. Then where to use have and has? If the subject is I, we, you, and they, in that case we should use have. If the subject is either he or she or it, in that case we should use has. For example, see, I have already eaten. Just completed action here. Then, he has not brought my book yet. A negative sentence. Then comes an interrogative. Have you read this book? Or else, I can take another example, that is, I have read a novel. I have read a novel. We have read a novel. You have read a novel. You have read a novel. She has read a novel. It has read a novel. He has read a novel. And they have read a novel. It's an example for the present perfect tense. And lastly, let us see where to use present perfect continuous tense. Till now, we learnt about simple present tense, present continuous tense, and present perfect tense. And now, I would like to tell you where to use present perfect continuous tense, that is, the fourth type of present tense. See, this present perfect continuous tense, it is used for an action which began at some time in the past and it is which is still going on. The action has begun in the past but still it is going on. For in such cases we should use this present perfect continuous tense. And what about the formula of this present perfect continuous tense then? See here, the formula for present perfect continuous tense is, first comes a subject, then we should put have or has, okay, on the basis of the pronoun. If the subject is I, we, you, they, in that case have. If the pronoun or the subject is he or she or it, in that case has must be used. So subject plus have or has, plus we should add been to have or has, plus verb 1, and we should add ing to the verb 1, and then comes the object. It's about a formula for the present perfect continuous tense. And the examples, look at the examples here. They have been studying English all morning. They have not been studying English all morning. Have they been studying English all morning? See, I have forgotten to tell you, sorry. See, if we want to frame the sentence in a positive form, the formula should be subject plus helping verb plus being plus verb 1 plus ing plus object. If we want to frame a negative sentence, in that case, subject plus have or has plus not plus been plus verb 1 plus ing plus object. If we want to frame an interrogative sentence in present perfect continuous tense, first comes have or has, then comes a subject, and then comes a been, and then comes V1 form, and then we should add ing to that V1, and lastly we should put object. It's about present perfect continuous tense. Hope you understood the types of the tenses. So my dear friends, that's it for today's class. In our today's class, we learned about regular and irregular verbs, and also we learned about tenses, the definition of the tense, the types of the tenses. I told you there are three types: present tense, past tense, and future tense. And also we discussed about all the four types of the present tense. Those are simple present tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense. So that's it for today's class. If you have any queries, please do drop your queries in the comment box of my YouTube channel. And we shall meet soon in our next class. Till the time we meet next, happy learning, and keep loving English language and grammar. Thank you.